Joining me now is retired U.S. Army General Keith Kellogg. Great to have you with us, General. I want to talk to you about this operation. Tactically, it was a success. Tactically, a drone attack with no civilian casualties taking out a leader like this of al-Qaeda is great news for the country. But many are asking the question, strategically speaking, after the botched withdrawal of Afghanistan, leaving the Taliban in control on the soil there, what is this al-Qaeda doing there, al-Qaeda leader, out in the open? You know, prime to see for everybody. What is it the Taliban promised him? Assurances of safety, et cetera. I mean, this was the concern all along when we left Afghanistan, that we would create a situation that was more ripe for terrorism in some ways.
Yeah, Jackie, thanks for having me. Look, it was a righteous kill. And what it really said is that you can run, but you can't hide. We're going to find you. It may take us a year or 2 years or 5 years, but we're going to run you down. And maybe one of the reasons he was inside the city, remember Osama bin Laden was in a villa in the middle of nowhere. He was easy to take down. When you look at Baghdadi, he was in a villa in the middle of nowhere, easy to take down. He was hoping maybe he could swim with the fishes, be in the middle of the city, but sooner or later, with a $25 million bounty on your head, somebody's going to start talking. And I'm sure we had third country nationals or other assets on the ground able to see, target, and figure out where he was at. They put a couple of Hellfires in there. I'm really kind of surprised it only got him. That's a pretty big missile, and it carries a huge explosive weight to it. So the building probably went down pretty fast. But it basically says we're going to find you sooner or later. We're going to kill you. But there's a subplot to this I think is very important. And the subplot is that we do have the ability to go over the horizon. We can kill from a distance. That was important. During the Trump administration, I remember time after time after time when defense officials and intelligence officials would come in, and I'm sure it happened with President Biden as well, where they said, no, you have to have troops on the ground. If we don't have troops on the ground, terrorism is going to raise its ugly head again. I think we can do things like this from a distance. We don't have the massive amount of troops on the ground that you need. But again, it's very important for the American people to understand that we can find these guys sooner or later, and we're going to kill them.
We can, but it also takes time. It takes a lot of intelligence on our part as well. And it really is a reminder in some ways that the terror threat is a looming threat. It's something that doesn't appear to be, going away anytime soon. And you look at it in the backdrop of all the geopolitical events that we've been talking about today, and Russia's invasion of Ukraine, what's happening overseas in Asia right now as well. And you just realize that, from a foreign policy standpoint, this country has a lot on its plate.
Oh, yeah. It's a very complicated world. You've got three major issues out there right now, I believe, with the Russia, Ukraine, then you've got the Iran issue going on, and, of course, you have China, and a subset is North Korea also raising its head once in a while. But, look, when you go back to terrorism, just quickly, terrorism is not something new. It's been around for a long time. I remember the Red Army factions in Germany in the 70s. It goes well back in history. So it's not a new phenomenon. It's just how you treat it and how you tolerate it. But going back again, circling back on what's happening in the world, look, this is a very complicated world, and the president better have his national security team on their toes because things are going to come up rapidly in succession in various places of the world, and they've got to be ready to act. And now it happens to be China.
And let's move on to that topic. Let's move on to China. Nancy Pelosi arriving in Taiwan today. We saw those pictures of this historic visit. General, how do you think China's going to respond to this? Obviously, some of the threats were even directed at her. She did arrive safely on the ground. She will meet with Taiwan's president tomorrow as well. She wrote that op-ed in the Washington Post talking about the importance of this trip, the statement that it makes to China. It's difficult to think that China's just going to sit back, even if they don't move, immediately, sit back and not have some consequence to this.
Yeah, Jackie, I would prefer that China worry about what we're going to do, not what we worry about what they're going to do. And President Biden needs to send that very, very clear signal. I applaud Speaker Pelosi from going to China, to Taiwan. I just wish she had taken a bipartisan group with her, sort of like Newt Gingrich did in 1997 when he visited. But we shouldn't worry about the Chinese. The Chinese worry about us. And my concern is that something's going to happen within the next couple of years because the Chinese are starting starting to realize this whole concept of a one China policy may start to fray. It's been around for 50 years. Now you're looking at a country, Taiwan, I believe a country of 23 million people under a democratically elected government. And maybe we need to sit back and start thinking, okay, how do we align ourselves much closer to Taiwan and not just say that it's one China policy, Taiwan belongs to China, and we forget about it. We shouldn't. And again, I applaud her for doing what she did. But we've got to, when you look at what's happening in Taiwan, that's a very critical part of the world. We're a Pacific power. Over half the world trade travels in that region through the South China Sea. And we need to be aware of that. And the fact is we need probably put more combat power, more battle groups, carrier battle groups in the Pacific than we currently have, meaning in the 7th Fleet area. So we'll see where it goes. But I think this is something that's going to come to a culmination within about 2 years before President Biden leaves office.
I think you make a great point, and in part of her Washington Post piece posted online after she arrived in Taiwan, she says our visit, one of several congressional delegations to the island, in no way contradicts the longstanding one China policy guided by the Taiwan Relations Act of 1979. And then she goes on to say from there, the United States continues to oppose unilateral efforts to change the status quo. But so many question, as you say, General Kellogg, the ambiguity surrounding that. And so these are matters that we're going to have to clear up. We really appreciate your insight and your time today. Thank you.
Thanks, Jackie.